Hi, and welcome to our final installment on policy analysis. Today we're going to talk about the actual disciplinary procedure on campus and oversight of the overall policy. So what we're looking for here is a clear outline of what's going to happen in a step-by-step fashion from the time that that report is made to the time that an outcome is determined by a hearing panel. We want to see on paper what the rights of the respondent are, as well as the person who's coming forward with that report. SAFER really adheres to due process throughout the entire hearing procedures, which means that there's somebody who's really on top of what's going on and has a position of oversight, meaning that they're organizing statements, they're organizing witnesses, they're organizing the actual hearing panel and making sure that everyone's trained and ready to accept a case if and when that happens on campus. What we're also looking for in these procedures are things like making sure that the student who's coming forward with the report, that their past sexual history and dress cannot be used as evidence. We want to make sure that it's clear to everyone who can be at the actual hearing panel and what the confidentiality standards are around that. We want to make sure that the respondent and the person who's coming forward with that report that they know that they have a right to the outcome of that, that it's not a secret, and that they also should be really clear that there's no gag rule on campus. That's something that we've struggled with in the past, meaning that a student can't talk about their case at all, even though it's their story and their experience on campus. SAFER adamantly opposes gag rules on campus. So I'm not going to detail what it should actually look like from top to bottom, because we see a lot of diversity in how schools actually run hearing panels. But what we want to make sure is that at the end of the day, it's clear how long those records are kept on campus, what the actual day of will look like, who will be called when, what both parties can expect to happen in that room, and finally how the appeals system works and what can be counted as an appeal. When we look at oversight, stepping back a little bit from the policy to see who's actually in charge of making sure that the school is accountable to the policy as written, we also want to make sure that the person who's making decisions at the end of the day is not just one solitary person, that it's actually a collective decision that that panel comes to, and that the appeal, if there is an appeal, doesn't go to a same singular person who's in charge. We see that sometimes, and it turns into one person having a lot of power on campus, which is not a good thing. We want to distribute that power over a variety of trained persons who are responsible to the hearing process. Of course, as an organization built on policy reform, what we really love to see implemented in policies is how changes can be made to the policy in the future. Something that I always recommend when I work with student groups is building in a 3-year review process so that students have time over the course of a typical 4-year spell at a college or university to get used to the policy, learn about it, and then take action when that time for revision comes up, if there's specific things that you'd like to see changed. And that is built into an institutional practice of updating policies as needed. And definitely, we don't see a school that doesn't need some kind of an update, especially with the changes that recently came down from the Office of Civil Rights in the Dear Colleague letter. You can learn more about the Dear Colleague letter on our blog, and in the Activist Resource Center, which is our online library of activist resources, as the name spells out, to learn more about how to build a policy reform movement on your campus. So with that, we're going to sign off. We hope to see you at the Campus Accountability Project, where you can submit your policy and really take a close look at the disciplinary procedure and oversight, as well as all of the other topics that we've covered over these videos. Of course, you also can bring us directly to your campus by bringing one of our trainers for a teach-in, which is a workshop to look closely at what your policy does and does not do, and what to do to change it. So thanks so much for tuning in. Definitely check out our resources online and contact us if you want support at building a movement on your campus.